Hello everybody! I haven't done a video in a really long time because I've been swamped at work, and my wife and I are purchasing and have purchased my parents' business and ours, and so we are now the owner of 3B Farms LLC, and we are working on figuring out how to purchase the rest of the property, and so we've been extremely busy this year. I have made some bigger purchases to help out all of the stuff we're doing, and I thought this is the perfect time for an end of year video so we can discuss all of the stuff we purchased. Here is number one. Let me walk around so we can see it and what we have accomplished this year. We have started doing our own hay, mostly. Here is number one, a hay bine. It was pretty reasonable priced, and it works with the old Case tractor. It was down for part of the summer because of the starter. Apparently there was none in the United States, and it got sent off to a company to rebuild for a grand total of $600 and some. Was not expecting that. That kind of hurt. But it works really good with the hay bine because it's got the hydraulics, it's got the power to pull it. It doesn't take a whole lot. The hay bine does a really good job. I did just break a sickle section the other day when I was messing with it. Where is it? Oh, it's right down there. You can see it's broke off. No big deal. They're easy to do. The other thing is I need to work on some tires. This tire over here goes flat if you let it sit for very long. It shouldn't be hard to do. We just got to take it off and get it swapped out. It has been a really handy. It does a really good job, and it's needed very minimal anything. I broke a couple guards, I broke a couple sickles. You're gonna have that if you use it. Not a big deal. And it looks nice. I like using the little tractor. I like the mower. I'm up here on my trees, and we're doing this. But we're working on expanding some stuff. We're working on broadening our horizons. The work stuff is probably going to get a little bit more streamlined because with my parents retiring, even though Dad worked off the farm part of the time, or a lot of the time, he did help some. Okay, the radio is off. He did help some. And Mom helped pretty well all the time, and my wife is a school teacher, so she is limited. I'm trying to back out with the car trailer on, out of here, and I'm trying not to hit stuff or back onto the road and hit a car, or get stuck. I almost got that turned too sharp. We're doing this. All right. So we are down help. My brother, we are about stuck, aren't we? Spin mud. There we go. Need a little bit of gravel. Not in the budget yet. We're up here. My brother does still help. But you know, when you more or less lose a person and a half, person and 3/4, you do get a little bit tight on help. This year went okay. We definitely know we can't do probably as many markets as we did last year because I need to be there so I can do some more of the gardening and taking care of stuff there. It just makes it really, really hard to go do any of that stuff when you're busy. Just one of them things. It just makes it really, really hard. But it works. But yeah, so that was part of it. The greenhouse flower sales were down just a little bit, but I think part of that is due to the economy because it has kind of sucked this year. It seems people just don't have the money for the little extra. The vegetable sales and the farmer, or the, whatchamacallit, the fall activity productivity stuff seemed like it stayed pretty consistent. I got to look at the numbers. I added some of it up last night, but you can just tell some of that stuff just was off. And I'm just thinking it's the year. People are a little short this year, and some of the extra stuff just got cut out. I understand it. We didn't do quite the stuff we did last year either. So, but here we are, we're getting up here, and I will walk out there because I just have a feeling we'll get stuck if we drive clear out there. And we had some big purchases this year for my wife and me to move on and broaden what we're doing. I did farm 6 acres of soybeans, and that went well because mainly did it for weed control, and it worked really well. We had a little bit issue with the combining, but I think we have that addressed now, and we learned. That's how you do it. I'm out here that we posted on planting it a couple years ago. This was the first full year of it. Looks good. Got some big rounds. This first row's completely sold. I got most of the second row completely sold, or I don't have any of the second row, but I've got most of the square bales done. Here's another purchase. An International 440 baler. This thing has made me more money this year than about any other thing I could think of. It needs some love because we used it well this year. It needs pickup tines, which I have almost all of them ordered. I do need to order a different tire because this one is just a hair too tall and borrowed. But it has worked awesome. It's got the long chute for loading onto a hay rack, which I don't own yet. It does have the dual tire on it. It is working on, it just comes from the orchard to here and is working on getting put away. I just got to get it done. Get it backed in the barn, and that way it's safe. But no, this thing has been awesome. It needs very little. The pickup teeth is the worst thing it needs, and they're just, the ones on here are getting thin and bent and missing. I do need to take this one band off and get it bent. It has bent somehow. It's annoying to listen to because when the cross auger comes through, it catches it and makes it go twing, and it gets annoying. It does have a rust hole in it. I'm not super worried about it, but I think we might, if we get a chance, we'll take that off and we'll patch it with a little thin steel. But this thing, for the money I spent on it, we've put right at 1,000 bales through it this year. So I cannot argue with that at all. Super happy with it. Been very, very dependable. My next purchase is kind of a pair, and I'll show you the one that's close, and then we'll walk back. We'll drive down to the house and we'll walk out back and show the other one. But I bought a parts combine, mainly because we got a regular combine, a good combine, and this thing has been a lifesaver just to have sitting here. I bought an International 1420. I know a lot of people told me I should have went with a 1460, but this one was in the price range. I have looked up on a couple parts places where you can order used parts. The gearbox right there, if I would have to go purchase one from somewhere else, is more than what I paid for the whole dang combine. I've got the extra final drives. I've got the extra whole back axle. I've got the hydraulic pumps, all of them. I've got all of the steel lines. I have all of the chains. I have belts walk around the other side. I did get a trailer too to haul it, which would haul a big sprayer. I do have an extra ladder if it would do. I got belts, and them 2 big belts are over 300 bucks a piece. This one big belt inside that is super long, that one is over 300 bucks itself. Plus the final drives are somewhere in that 600 to 800 depending on who you're ordering them from. I do have all of the AC. The gentleman I got it from bought this combine for the motor, took the side panels off and was scrapping it and sold me the rest of it. I have cross augers, I have chains, I have the chaffer. This one has a chopper, the other one does not have a chopper. Trying to decide if it's worth switching it. Trying to decide if we unload the combine and part it out quick, or if we leave it sit and try to get like the rubber hoses. I'd like to get the hydro out, all of that stuff. It does have the boot in the top of the auger for the unload auger. I know that is something that breaks on them. I do have all of the deals in here for the rotor. I do have the rotor. I do have all the rotor drive. I have all of that. I do have all of the electrical inside the cab yet. I have already pulled the hydraulic or the steering wheel out of it for mine because it was leaking. It's got all of the header control height stuff in it. It's got the cylinders for the feeder house, and just having the extra rubber hoses and fittings and all of that stuff is just awesome. The drive pump, I got the hydraulic pumps, I got all of that. So by the time you do all of that thinking, having this sitting here, if we have a breakdown, keeps me going. Makes it cheap insurance. Just one of them things. In my head, it just was a good purchase. I was not planning on doing it, but life happens. I wasn't planning on buying a combine until I stumbled into one for a deal with a buddy. We found it, and first night we drove it home in the dark. And I have since used it. I did use it to combine the corn maze at work. I borrowed the corn head from him. He has a 1460 that he bought. He's the one that combined my soybeans, and he has since bought a different header for it. This one, or my good one, come with a 13-foot header, which is still at work. I gotta work on it or get it drug home. I do have my 6 acres of rye planted, and we plan on combining it, and we'll combine it and do the bale straw off of it. Trying to get parked and not hit stuff. There we go. All right. And now we'll walk out back. I don't know if we showed the Oliver 1850 that we bought this spring. I'm working on the loader brackets so we can get the loader put on. I got to get the hydraulic set up. The little Yanmar 1810, we tore the clutch out of it, raking hay. We've got an old John Deere planter that we're going to use for doing soybeans. I bought that last year and haven't got it used. The auction the other day, I bought a John Deere head mover, 3-point head mover. So you put this on the back of the tractor and you can pick up heads. I bought the stand with the bridge planks for $5. I bought a big sprayer, which tipped over here in the wind. 250 gallon. I honestly have no idea how long the booms are. It is set up for GPS. I need some information on GPS. It has got ag leader stuff in it. It's got the electrical shutoffs. I got to figure out how to hook it up. All of that fun stuff. This is the John Deere that I bought a couple years ago. Sold the motor out of it. This one is getting parted. Anybody need any parts off of it? There it is. These tires are the same as what's on the International, so therefore it works. Same with the back tires. And there's the one that we bought and we used. 1420 worked pretty slick. The feeder house is completely covered in oil because the hydraulic motor that runs the steering was leaking, dripping down, and made a mess, so we switched it out. Really good shape for the most part. Worked really well. It did have a big dent. They must have run into a tree when they turned or something right here. It's pushed in. It's pretty common, but it's pretty good old combine. I'm pretty happy with this purchase. Again, you can see where they backed into a shed or a tree or something before I got it. Which happens. The older they are, the more it seems to be damaged. This one does not have a chopper on it. It just has the spinner on it. It's good for the 13-foot head or the whatchamacallit, or the 4-row head, corn head is what this one is good for. Pretty slick combine. Never been around a whole lot of red ones. I was looking for John Deere's, but I stumbled across this one. It does need a little bit of TLC, needs a little bit of love, needs a couple hydraulic hoses switched because they are thin and leaky. They just ooze, easy enough to do. Need to clean up the cab a little bit inside. The headliner and stuff was all falling out of it. I would like to put a few more lights on it just so you can see a little better in the dark, which is common with combines of this era. That's why a lot of people switch to LEDs, but we can't argue. I also do have a Bish adapter that goes on the head or on the feeder house that will put a John Deere head onto this International feeder house, which makes that pretty handy. It almost looks like that's bent. Well, it looks like we got to do some more looking into it. Looks like, no, it might be just the, I might have a bearing out or something. I don't know. Or something needs adjusted. I just was looking at it and it looks off just a little bit, like it's tipped. Oh well. We don't need it for a while. We'll get it worked on. But yeah, so we're moving up. We're going to try to do a little bit of crop farming this year, a little more than we have been. We'll see what we get accomplished. Hopefully I can find a couple farms to rent for, not this year probably, but for next year. And we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to try to get a little bigger, do a few more things. Just keep working. It's just hard to update a lot of stuff and do videos. Editing, anybody that does videos knows editing is what kills your life. Partially why I haven't done any, because I haven't had time. We got to build a bunch of fence. Hopefully we can run a few more, or get a couple more cattle. I bought a couple pigs. I bought 5 pigs. 2 of them are sold already without trying. Yeah, so we're gonna keep moving on. I've talked to a buddy about the acreage behind his house. It sounds promising. I ain't gonna say nothing until it's done. And we signed stuff for it. Trying to rent a few acres with the little equipment we have. We keep thinking anywhere we can find something 2 to 5 acres where a lot of the big farmers can't get in and out with their great big planters and crap. We're gonna try for it. even if we just do hay off of it for a year or two. We have the small farm equipment, so hopefully we can run a few acres of grain, feed the cows and the pigs. That's kind of where we're at. Gonna start trying to increase numbers, and you can't do that if you're not trying, so try to make a few extra dollars. I did successfully feed out a calf for a friend, 1,045 pounds hanging. Probably should have went a little sooner, but we had to wait for the locker date. That's the major problem. That's the thing with the pigs. That's why we were kind of hesitant about them. But then I talked to a couple lockers. I think we can get them in. Hopefully we do well. If they do well, we'll buy more and maybe set up a better spot for them. But there's our works in the order. I'm sure there's something else I forgot. Ask any questions you have. We're going to try to do this small farming thing. We're going to do vegetables, flowers, farmers markets. We're going to grow some crops. We're going to do the ag tourism stuff. We're going to do everything. Grow some animals for people. Custom feed if we have to. One of them guys. Oh, I forgot. We bought a hay rake too. It's over there in the weeds. It is what it is. Thanks for watching, guys.